Is it working? You
Yeah.
press play already? We're gonna begin by speaking about that. So welcome home for my little cabin tour. A lot of people have been asking me to do a cabin tour. I don't really like to speak, unfortunately, so it took me a while since I decided if I do it or not. Anyway, today we're here and we're gonna do it. So yeah, let's begin by the beginning. Like this place, it's a top cliff lot that I bought about 6 years ago, and it was like truly wild. Like there was nothing, there was not even a trail to come here. The land is pretty big. I got like 2 acres, unfortunately. This is like a normal residential property, but it's surrounded by like nobodies because like nobody want to buy here, and which is great because I like neighbors, but not that much. Okay, this cabin here has been brought all the material by 4-wheeler, and the way we did it is with the material elevator that I will call. It's simply like an 80 feet long ramp that we did with like 4x8 plywood. And there's a winch and we just did like couples of up and down and that's it, you got a house. But there's certain time of the year where you can use that because like unfortunately we're on the East Coast and there's a lot of snow. So during winter you don't work on building stuff, you just chill and relax. You can come and I'll show you the main compound. So when you arrive, this is how it looks like. I got my wood shed over there, I got the balcony, I got my generator shed here, I got my water shed there, and I got the main cabin. And also in the generator shed there's like 2 batteries to make the winch work. We can go in front first. I just want to show my solar panel. We've been trying to do like garden on the cliffside, as you saw already. It's pretty hardcore because like there's almost like no soil, so we have to create the soil first and plant stuff, and maybe like in a couple of years we're gonna have like proper soil to go with. But for now we have to buy like big bags of pro mix and plant and try to create layers. Anyway, that's another subject. But here you can find like some little plots of farming in the mountain. But come here without dying. All right, so go there. Isn't it beautiful? Not paying hydro for electricity. We are like on a dead zone here in the area. There's like no water supplied by the municipality, or there's like no sewer. There's also no electricity. Did I say that already? My life. I'm gonna begin again. Okay, so in the area we are like in a dead zone. Unfortunately, there's like no service provided by the municipality, and that means like no sewer and no running water and no electricity. That's why I got those big guys here. I got like 4 of them. They're like 275 watts each. Gives me like 1100 watt. The cabin is quite small and we don't have like a lot of appliance to run other than the fridge. So this is what it is for the solar of this cabin. Yeah, I'm gonna come back on the solar after. You can press stop at some point. I was speaking about the solar. The way solar works basically is you got your solar panel, which they go into like a solar charge controller, what they call, and then to kind of convert the 12 volt electricity from your batteries when you're not connected to the grid, then you need like an inverter. And here we have quite a small inverter, but it's working well. It's a Kisae 2000 watt and never had any trouble. Like we basically have a fridge, we have like a couple of lights. I use my computer. So yeah, the cabin is 18 by 22 feet, which gave us like a 396 square feet for the main floor. But at the back we got my watershed, which adds another like 64 square feet. And at the end of that, I think I have around like 60 square feet, like something like this. And in the area, like there's a restriction about like the size of the house. We can't go under like 450, unfortunately, which I think it's quite sad because we don't need like that much big space. Like we are two here, and like this is like almost like too big sometimes. The important thing is the layout inside, so it looks bigger. And what I did here to make it look big is I put like a really tall wall in front. We got like 19 feet. And then I got the back wall, which is like 12 feet. It's called like a shed roof style. And I did that because I wanted the snow slide naturally during winter. I don't want it to be like stuck, like removing snow, because we got a lot of snow normally here during winter, and that was part of one of the decision. But also it was for just the look in general. When you come inside, like it doesn't feel cluttered. You feel like it's a wide open space. There's almost no wall inside. It's very like a big cube. And that was also like a question of like I had no skills in building, so building a cube, I think it was like the simplest way to do something first. Anyway, we go inside. Oh yeah, all the siding. Look at that. I'm a big fan of those fisherman houses in Nova Scotia and all the East Coast, and that's what I really wanted to recreate, kind of. So that's why I installed like cedar shakes. Took me almost 2 years to install that because it's very long. It's 1 by 1, and all the corner you have to cut it so it fits with the other one if you don't want to put a trim like this. Me, I wanted the original style. So before going inside, I should show like the water shed. This is the shed, the 8x8 I was talking about. This place is nice. It keeps always at 0 degrees, so at the same time it's like a root cellar. This is where we stock all our veggies from our friend farm. So we got like 2 tanks of 1,000 liter here, and they never freeze because it's tempered inside here. And it's also a lot of storage. And this is where I put my tools too. Wow, this is not focus. Are you filming still? Wow, yes. No, perfect. Okay, here I got a little shed I did. It's just to be protected from the snow falling down the roof. Got my propane in there, and I got my diesel in there. Off-grid living, it's not always super green as people will talk, but I'm sure my house uses less energy than a conventional house. The diesel in there is just for my backup heating system, but I'll go back on that later. Welcome in. Welcome inside. Inside it's nice, it's warm. It's pretty well insulated in here. And now my cameraman have to remove his boots. As I do have to. So yeah, this is the main living area. You got the wood stove, the couch, the bed on the left, and then the bathroom, the utility room, and the kitchen. Our main source of heat is the wood stove, which I really like. I really like the heat from a wood stove. But we have also now a diesel heater as a backup heating system. It's really as a backup because like I really prefer to heat with that. But you never know, when you're in the bush like this, you want to have like some kind of choice. So yeah, just in case, you never know. The whole walkable area is up to 696 square feet, but we don't give a fuck about that. Main kitchen is composed of a small cooktop, the same one that you're gonna find into a van, an RV. It's working on propane, it's very efficient, and the other appliance that I have that works on propane is the hot water heater. And seriously, so far with like the hot water heater and the cooktop, we have to change the 20-liter propane bottle every 3 months. So it's very good. It's $18, so if you do the calculator. We got like the sink here. We got the water, which is from the rain. We got 3,000 liters in total with a normal like 12-volt pump made by SHURFLO. It's the same one that you're gonna see in van, because seriously, the way I build this house is like a van. Like most of the appliance, like the water pump, is working on 12 volt because the house is 12 volt. So that's another reason why I have this small pump instead of a big house pump. And also I don't have a well. I'm working with the rainwater here, so I don't have to have like a gigantesque pump to pump the water from the ground. Drinking water, not by Labrador. We brought water from our friend's well. Drinking water. But we got also like this little filter here. It's a ceramic filter, and you can drink the rainwater if there's no more water in that. With that, it's very nice. The fridge is a normal 120 volt fridge, like you're gonna see in all the house in the world. And the reason why I didn't choose a propane or a 12 volt fridge is because of the price first, and it's also because the size. I wanted something bigger to put more food and avoid to go in town, and I like to be in the bush. Yeah, here the window of the living room is facing south, because as you can see today, it's very cold outside. It's like -10 Celsius. There's no fire right now, and just with the window and the sun, it's like 20 degrees Celsius inside. We didn't heat, like the sun brings heat. So I think it's a little bit like passive house kind of style. You know? I wouldn't say that we're a passive house, but this is a passive system using passive house that I applied here because the house is facing south. One other cool thing is the bathroom. By the way, people always ask me, where do you shit? Where do you take a shower? So here's the secret. Sunmar 12 volt composting toilet, divider, so absolutely no smell. There's a fan that put all the fume kind of outside. We got a small sink here where you can brush your teeth. And we got a shower here. And if you come inside, as you can see, there's a bucket here. And the bucket is made when we take a shower. The propane hot water heater takes a while before the water gets hot. So we just like put the bucket here, start the shower, and we wait until it's hot, and then we remove the bucket and we go shower. So this way we can reuse the water that is in the bucket and we put that in the main tank upstairs. It's a way to save water because we don't have like infinite water here. What you hear right now is the fan of the solar controller because like it's very pumping today. The electric room, this is where it's a mess. We got the main sub panel of the house. It's basically like a normal house. Let's say it's like all the wire are 14.2. It's just we take the 12 volt and we convert it and put it into this box as 120 volt to have like the normal electricity that you're gonna find into like all the normal house in the world. And this is a box of fuse for my 12 volt appliance, straightly connect on my batteries. Here we got the main water tank. It's on the second floor. The reason I would put that at the beginning is because I thought it would be a great idea to have like a gravity system of water to avoid using a pump because this is what they were doing back then. In the old days, they used to have like gravity fed water system that was working fine, but now I kind of wanted to have filters to have my water really clean. So with the filter, it created too much restriction, so the gravity didn't work finally, so I had to put like a small pump there, which is the 12 volt little pump I was talking about. After that I got my pressure balloon, the hot water heater here, and here I got like the Sagan unit system, and this is a Chinese diesel heater. It's like the same thing as a Webasto but cheaper. I just wanted to give it a try because I wanted a backup system for heating the place. And what you see right there are the flush valves, because when I'm gone for a couple of months or a couple of weeks or a couple of days, I designed this water system to be drained. But this is just to empty all the piping from the house. So like there's no picks breaking under like ice or stuff, because it's made to be drained. This is the charge controller. That is connected straight on the batteries. That knows the status of the batteries and brings the electricity from the solar panel, and that manages also the electricity. If the batteries are full, they're gonna just stop the electricity coming from the solar panel, and vice versa. It's working well. And this is the main battery stack. Those two batteries are like 12 volt, 300 amp hour each, and they're from Voltium. So the batteries that I just showed you are my new batteries. They're lithium batteries. The set I had before was made from Surette, the rolls. They were 6 volt, 550 amp each. They were acid, so you can't really like drain them under like 50%, and 50% is really the maximum, I think, because you break the cells and that shrink their lifespan. So with this new batteries that I have lithium, there's no memory inside, so I can drain them up to like 5%, and like they don't really care, because I can play like 520, 100, or like whatever. It's a very nice technology because there's no memory. It's just here. Sometimes there's no sun for months, and by having batteries that you can drain them more, then the fact you have more electricity. And if you're waiting for the sun, maybe that gives you a chance to wait for the sun and then filling your battery with the solar system instead of starting the generator. Because in off-grid home it's like this. Sometimes you have to do compromise. You have to start the generator. It's very annoying, but you need electricity for appliance and lights. But yeah, like all the wood that I've used for the cabin, like ceiling, floor and walls, is red pine, because this is the most common wood you're gonna find in the forest here. So good price, and you use what is locally milled, so you avoid too much transport and like exotic kind of wood. I like the rustic style anyway, so I don't want it to have like cheap rocks, and I don't want it to pay like crazy price. So this is a way to have like beautiful wood, and it's not stained, it's natural. It's like aging over the years. Okay, so we're upstairs now. Upstairs, we got a small chilling spot there, some storage. Got my main office where I do my work. We got the main water tank here, and that hose there is can I see the hose? And this pipe here is to refill the water tank with the 2 other water tank that is in the shed. I just plugged this washing machine tube onto like the 12 volt pump, and I just pump the water back into that guy, and it takes like 25 minutes. It's very not long for like 1000 liter. Here is a storage again, clothing, video production stuff, and it is what it is. So here's the the bedroom, if I could call it the bedroom. Here is what give me the name. So right now we are like on the main loft, and this is like the half loft. People, when they see your pictures, they're like, oh man, how do you get up there? And finally you just climb the stairs and you climb other stairs like this and you're in the main sleeping area with the nice views, and it's good. If you fall from the bed, then you don't go like in the ditch like people think there's space and it's safe. Puis c'est ça. Like it's about it, I think. Yeah, I like to manage my weather inside the cabin, so I have this little thermometer. When I go to sleep, I always try to put the cabin at 28. So when the fire dies at night, then the cabin go maybe like 18, which is not that cold. And that's the tricks for here. As we run the whole house on rainwater, and there's no water toilet, there's no black water. Basically we create like gray water, so we have like a special septic system, which is basically like phytoepuration system, they call it. It's a technology that we see mainly in earthship to kind of recycle your gray water and plant some plants or filtering plants. And also it's a system mostly known more in Europe than in Canada. I've did some research. They've been doing research for 20 years, and this is where I took the idea. And also by Michael Reynolds. Thanks, buddy. The guy from the Earthship.
Oh yeah.
I'm just name dropping. The ventilation of the house is made by this guy right there. Like there's a really amazing draft that gives the whole space new air all the time, because the fire needs air to work, as everyone know that. And this house is a bit sketchy because like when I built it, I recycled like old windows and old doors, so it's leaking by everywhere. But on top of that, I wanted more fresh air, so I bought the HRV System by Lunos. As you saw, like maybe like 1 or 2 years ago, I did a small video with exploring alternative, and I said that like the house cost like $64,000 Canadian. But after like years and years of like adding stuff and just like making it better, I must be more like at 80,000, I would say. I don't know. At some point I stopped calculating because I was like kind of discouraged. People ask me a lot also, what is the foundation of the house and why I've done these like this. It's just to situate yourself that we're like on a steep like cliff, rocky cliff, mountaintop cliff, rock, yeah. The reason is because we can't really bring a concrete truck to pour like a nice like mono slab, which I would have liked to have, but it was unfortunately impossible, other than if I spend like maybe 1 year bringing like small bags of concrete. So I decided instead to raise the house and do it on pilotis. So we spent maybe like 2 weeks pouring, maybe, no, not 2 weeks, maybe 1 week cleaning the rock and 1 weekend pouring the concrete pad. And then we sat like big, like 6x6 treater pressure, those guys here, on the concrete pad. And that's what is holding the floor. And then we put like the house structure over the floor, and that's it. So I think the hardest part of like this cabin has been the build, as it's not like near a road, and we had to bring like all the construction material by 4-wheeler and then put those on the material elevator and then like stack them and maybe after that use them. This kind of extend the process of building a house like this. This took me like basically 3 years almost. But building a house like this, if you're near a road, I think you can do that in like 3 or 4 months. A couple of friends and you build that super quick. And I didn't know, no, seriously, when I started this project, I didn't know how much it would be complicated just by the access of this place on the land. But at the end it's worth it because like I like this place, it's great. We're on top of the cliff, I got a nice views, and
Wow, that's mad.
On the last note, when you don't have access to hydro or like any services from the municipality, you have to be creative, and we're not the only one in the area to be off-grid. This was, see. Bye.